Okay, we're looking forward to going to Ole Miss and playing those guys on the road. Both teams came off tough road losses. Really, when you look at them, they're a better team than their record. They could have won, a couple of those games and had opportunities. You look at their offense, one of the best offenses statistically in college football up to this point, and they played some pretty good defenses too. Really, what stands out to me is that they're able to run the football, they're able to throw it. You look at their quarterback. He's thrown for 11 touchdowns. Their leading receiver Elijah Moore, very impressed with him, 42 receptions, and then of course their running back Ely. We know all about him. He's a very explosive guy. And their defense, they've played some of the best offenses, but we know we've got our work cut out for us. Anytime in this league, there's such a fine line between winning and losing, especially when you go on the road. And of course, you look at us last week. Like I said, I think we improved in some areas, but the bottom line is we made the critical mistakes that didn't let us win the game, and that's what we got to correct. And really, just getting back to playing good, hard nosed, blue collar, physical Auburn football. That's really my mindset right now. Our offense and defensive line, I felt like did improve, but we got to keep going. We got to keep getting better and better up front, and I really believe we'll do that. And so looking forward to going to Ole Miss, and like I've said before, I mean our goal is to improve each week, and we have the ability to do that. Questions?
First question is from Jordan Hill.
Gus, what sort of response have you seen from Bo this week and in bouncing back after Saturday?
Well, we had practice Sunday, and I think just overall, not just him, but our whole team, obviously disappointed that we didn't win the game, and just now we got to do something about it. We got to keep improving and got to put that behind us. And so, really, that was the mindset Sunday after we watched the film and after we had a short practice. Obviously, today is our main preparation for game week coming up today, tomorrow, and Thursday.
Next is Steve Moulton.
Coach, on the passing game, where do you think you guys stand heading into this, and specifically with what happened on the sideline there at South Carolina? I was wondering if y'all had a chance to address what that confrontation or conversation, I guess, between Seth and Bo.
Yeah, well, I said this other night. I mean, obviously, very passionate and emotional guys want to win. We just got to channel that in a better way moving forward, and we will do that. As far as the passing game goes, I do think we're doing some good things. We talked about balance. Really what's standing out to me is the last 2 weeks we rushed for 200 yards, and so that's really a plus. And that's kind of that hard nosed mentality Auburn football that I was talking about earlier. So something we can build upon. And the thing about it, when you're playing good teams, you got to be able to do both. And so we'll continue to strive to get better.
With in Oxford and specifically with this football team, I know COVID has been a particular issue here the last couple of weeks. I'm curious from your standpoint, you've gone through a couple of road trips. Are you doing anything maybe differently because of the COVID concerns there at Oxford?
No, I mean we're handling ourselves the way we've been handling. So far, so good. For 5 or 6 weeks straight, we just got to continue to have the COVID etiquette and be responsible. Our guys have done that, and we're hopeful that we'll continue to do that.
Next is Tom Green.
Gus, it seems like every day some new statistic pops up detailing just how effective Tank Bigsby has been this year. Have you been surprised by how quickly he's kind of emerged, and what's been most impressive to you so far about him?
Yeah, and just how physical he's running. I mean, he looks like an Auburn running back to me. And he's running with great passion, and that's a good thing. And that kind of fits too, like being able to run the football effectively. He's broken tackles. Like I said, our offensive line really took that next step. I felt like last week, run the football with some zone and some gap, and just keep building upon those things.
Josh Vitale is next.
Just to clarify, do you have an update from the testing on Sunday?
Say that again.
Do you have an update from the testing on Sunday?
Oh, testing on Sunday, yeah, we were all negative. So, yeah, and I'll keep you updated if we end up getting anything different.
Mark Murphy's next.
Yes, I wanted to check on an update on how Jalen Simpson and Marco Domio are coming along health-wise.
Yeah, of course, Jalen played some, and made it through. I think Damio is healthier. I think this is a big week for both of them to get back on the practice field and making sure they're healthy enough to play. And obviously, when we have those two guys, it gives us more depth, and that's a good thing. So we'll see how this week goes with them, but both of them are definitely going to practice.
Now, Marquise Burks had played the first games and didn't play Saturday. Is he hurt?
Yeah, he was sick last week. A couple of days of practice that held him out.
Okay, thanks.
Nathan King is next.
Gus, how much potential do you think the running game still has? The fact that Sean Shivers hasn't been there for a few weeks, and it seems like you guys have kind of only increased, in production with Tank there. How excited are you guys to get Sean back and feel like you're at full strength?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, Sean Shivers is one of our team leaders. You're talking about a guy that had a phenomenal fall camp and really had a really good first half against Kentucky and then got hurt. And, so that'll definitely help when he gets back. He's in a great spot. The fact that our 5 offensive linemen, like I said the other night, that, they've practiced for the first time Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of the same week, all 5, all in the same position. Then they go out there and take the next step forward. We can build upon that. And so that's really, very encouraging. Now we just got to do it.
Next is Jordan Hill.
Gus, I want to ask, with Ole Miss's offense, are there things you see that kind of look similar to what Lane was doing when he was at Alabama, and does that help in preparing for this Ole Miss team?
That I think that's been a while, but there is some similarities, obviously. What stand out to me is they've been very balanced. They've been good at both. I mean, and that's really the thing that stands out. Not just one of the best offenses statistically, but they're good at running the football and throwing the football, and that's the biggest challenge that you have when you defend someone that can do both well.
Justin Ferguson's next.
Hey, Gus, I wanted to ask you about DJ Williams. He was out there a lot on Saturday, especially in pass protection. I know Nathan asked about Sean stepping up and helping out Tank in the running game, but what about DJ, especially early in the year?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked about him too. So DJ's a guy that had a shoulder in fall camp. Then he had a toe right after that. That's kind of helped him, kept him from being 100% really. And I think he was closer Saturday. He had a good week of practice. Like I've said before, he's a veteran guy that, has been in the heat of the battle in some big games. And so, to have all 3 of those guys, and then I want to say Mark Anthony Richards, I think he had probably his best week of practice that he's had since he's been here. And, he battled some injuries early too. So I think we're starting to get healthier in the running back room.
J.G. Tate is next.
Wasn't ready for that one. Hey, Gus, question you mentioned earlier about the gap and the zone stuff that you guys have been running. It seems like, each week you're doing some different stuff, still kind of hunting for kind of an identity. Is that fair to say in the run game?
I don't know if hunting would be the right word to use. A lot of times when you're evaluating your offensive line and, when you have guys out all the time, once they stick together, you can start figuring out their strengths. And so, zone gap, a little bit of outside zone too, and I think you'll see the whole thing kind of come together, as the year moves forward.
Just a follow on that. Just talk about. I know your offensive line played significantly better against South Carolina. What do you think was the impetus for that?
I've said it before, but I think it's just the fact that all 5 worked together that week. I mean, it's so important up front. Like the guy beside you, defenses do all kind of different things, but you can communicate and make calls and actually get some continuity. There's nothing like actual game time of the heat of the battle. You can't simulate that in practice. I mean, it's making adjustments as you go, communicating, understanding, working together on double teams, working together on twists when you pass it off, and just that communication. And So that's encouraging, as far as moving forward.
Brian Matthews is next.
Thank you, Coach, for speaking to us. Wanted to ask you again about the offensive line. You said you're happy with the 5. Does that mean you're settled on Alec Jackson at left tackle, or does Austin Troxel still figure in there somehow?
Austin's we think a big time player. He had that injury 2 weeks ago that kind of put him back, but he's still a guy that we have a lot of confidence in. That is ready to go. When needed. So I think that's more of a positive as far as depth goes and all that. That's probably the best way to answer that.
Back up both tackle positions, is that correct?
Oh, yeah. He's a veteran guy. I mean, he can play both tackles. He's played guard before in big games. So he's a guy you can move around, but specifically at tackle. And like I said, he battled a couple, injuries so far. But he's back too. All the other guys are back. I don't think we have any limitations this week in practice. So, that's very encouraging.
Thank you.
Bill Cameron is next.
Coach, wanted to ask you about the other side of the line, the defensive line. I know Mark asked about Marquise. Rodney usually likes to play a lot of guys up front, but looked like Daquan and Tyrone played a lot of snaps. Just wondered about the status health-wise of Zacchaeus and Dre, and how's Jay Hardy coming along?
Yeah, Zacchaeus and Dre both were a little bit banged up in practice last week. I think they're getting healthier. As far as Hardy's concerned, he still has an ankle issue. I don't know when he's going to be back, but he's working hard to do that. So, that's where we're at. And the two veteran guys, they're battling. They are playing a lot of snaps, but, hopefully we can get to a point where some of them other guys can get ready to fill in when needed.
Jason Caldwell's next.
Gus, the defense giving up a pretty good bit of third and medium, third and longs this year. Now, some were by penalty the other day. Can you put your finger on what you've seen? Has it been kind of the lack of depth up front, and then maybe execution or what have you seen out of that?
No, really, the thing that stood out to me is the penalties. I mean, we let them off the hook a couple times on the penalties, and that's what's got to be corrected. I mean, the other stuff, our guys, we did put a little more pressure on the quarterback, things like that, but we can't beat ourselves, and that's really the focus, moving forward.
How much will it help to get a healthy Jalen Simpson back, some of those guys back in the secondary too?
Oh, yeah, Jalen and Marco Damia, both of them have real good skill sets, and both of them I think are real solid cover guys, and that does nothing but help. We've been a little bit thin the last couple weeks, but getting those two guys back will definitely help us.
Jared Oliver is next.
Hey, morning, Coach. Coming off of a tough loss and you're heading into your second straight road game, is this more of a must-win or is there more of a sense of pressure to win this game?
Can you say that last part again? I could barely hear.
Oh, sorry. Is this more of a must-win coming off of a tough loss and heading into your second straight road game? Is there more pressure to win this game?
Well, I mean, it's a very important game. I'll tell you that. I mean, obviously, when you lose a game, and you got to bounce back, and so yeah, it's a very important game. Our guys understand that, and the big picture of this thing, we need to win. We need to get some momentum, and we need to play good Auburn football. And really, that's going to be our mindset. Obviously, like I said earlier, I mean, you're playing a team that's better than the record, and they've showed that. They've almost beat some really good teams. So, but our focus is getting better. Our focus is finding a way to get a victory and coming back and getting some momentum. And so that's what's on our mind.
Next is Steve Moulton.
Matchup-wise, Yeboah, the tight end there for Ole Miss, how much of a matchup problem is he?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's one of the leaders in production in our league at tight end. So you're talking about a guy that can run. He's made plays. I think they've done a pretty good job of finding ways to get him the ball too. So we'll definitely need to to be aware and know where he's at.
And I know this isn't your first time meeting Lane, obviously, Coach, but just strategy-wise, I'm wondering how much you've talked with Lane in the past about offensive philosophies.
No, we've not talked any football in the past. I mean, I've got respect for him as a coach. There's no doubt about that, and along his different stops. But we're kind of from different families, but we've not talked football.
A follow-up from Bill Cameron.
With over 80 snaps this past week, the most you've had, are you a little concerned about how much of a load there really is on Bo with 15 runs along with the 47 passes?
Well, he competed like crazy. I do know that. He fought. He had 15 rushes and throwing, and like I said, each game is a little bit different. But being able to run the football and being balanced, that's really what we're going to focus on, and that'll help everything. But he competed his tail off, and I thought he made some big time runs, ran physical, and then, like I said, he made some scramble plays that helped us on third down too, and with some conversions.
We have time for a few more. First is Mark Murphy.
Gus, it looks like you guys have lost some sort of hidden yards in the stats by not fielding punts at times. Is there anything you can do about that?
Yeah, we can field them. We can do a better job of fielding them, and that's what we've talked about. And we're going to do a better job than that, because we've lost some this year in numerous games, and so we're going to start fielding them.
Have you ever thought about putting twins back there in punt coverage?
You know what? We've thought about different things like that, but I think more in right to it, you gotta field them. Whether you put 1, 2, or 3, or 4, you just gotta field them.
Thanks.
Our last question today is from Gianna Hahn.
Hi, Gus. I know you've talked about how happy you are with Owen Popo and Jacoby McClain, but how do you make up for the loss of a leader like KJ Britt in that defense?
Well, first of all, KJ Britt's our team leader, and so how do you make up for that? I mean, that's a tough blow, all right. But at the same time, you get opportunities. You got Owen, Jacoby, and they're taking that next step. And the great thing is KJ's still around. He's still doing a great job being a leader. He did that Sunday night, and we'll get him back before the end of the year, so that's a positive too. But he's not only just a great player, but he's a great leader. So that was a blow. But hey, we knew there was going to be adversity in this unusual season, and that's just some of it that we dealt with. But he's still there with us to help his teammates.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.